everyone. It's Kristen from Swagger Magazine, and today we are joined with our cover star, Shawn Desman. How's it going?
Hi, how are you, Kristen?
I'm well. It was fun shooting with you the other day.
So much fun. When do I get to see these photos? Hello.
I'm gonna have to send Mark a little nudge on that soon, though. Soon, I promise. I feel like we have so much to cover. You're so incredible, and you have such an amazing story. You've kind of, returned to music. You took a little bit of time off in 2015, and now you're back. I want to talk to you a little bit of your career as a whole, but let's start with your return to music and how that came about.
Yeah, I feel like I've told this story so many times. It's like so crazy. So this past summer in July, I was contacted by a friend of mine that Drake had contacted him and told him that he was putting on this show, and it was like part of the OVO weekend. And my friend was like, Drake personally wants me to invite you to perform at the show. And I was like, oh yeah, that would probably be cool. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, tell him I'm in. I'll do it. No problem. So that happens, and then the show is announced, and I get a call from Jamie at Wax Records, and he's like, hey man, what are you doing about this show? I said, what do you mean? I'm doing the show, and then that's it, right? He's like, man, you cannot do that. If there was ever a chance that you were going to come back and make music again, this is it. Like, this is huge. Drake asked you to perform at this show, right? And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. He's like, well, listen, I'm going to set up a whole bunch of press around it. We're going to make this a big deal. I'm just doing this because I love you and I want you to have a great show and I want you to win. Okay, cool. So we start doing the press around the show, and day of the show comes and I'm doing a bunch of stuff. And before that, I'm going to rewind a little bit.
Okay.
A couple of days after, I was like, you know what? I'm going to blow the roof off of History, which was where the show was, the venue. People don't know that I'm going to blow it. It's going to be crazy. I start rehearsing for the show. I'm like in front of a mirror here, and my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm rehearsing. She's like, for what? I'm like, I need to know when I get up there what I'm doing, right? So now day of the show comes, and I'm doing all this press, and I'm saying that I'm going to murder the show. I'm going to blow the roof off of that place. They have no idea what's going to hit them. So go on stage, and the place erupts. It goes crazy. I was around for everybody else's performances, but for mine, it was kind of hard for me to kind of hear what was going on because I have in-ear monitors in. So I'm listening to myself, not really listening to the crowd. But after the fact, and looking back at videos and looking at Instagram, posts from fans and whatnot, were like, yo, when Shawn Desman came on, that place went crazy. The energy was here, and it just went woof, crazy. So I come off stage, the show goes amazing. I come off stage, and during the show, I could see Drake in the balcony on my right from the corner of my eye. And after every song, he's going nuts. He's banging the wall. I'm surprised he didn't bruise his hand. So I come off, and I walk into this hallway because there was a green room, but it was so packed. And I just come off stage. I'm like, I just need to go collect myself. So I'm like, let's go in the hallway. And that hallway led to the balcony where Drake was standing. So I'm standing in the hallway. He comes through the door and grabs me and pulls me aside. He's like, yo, man, come here for a sec. I was like, yeah, what's up, dude? He's like, Shawn Desman, you're different, eh, bro? And I said, what? He's like, yo, you're different, eh? And I'm like, Drake, I don't know what that means. You need to explain what you're saying to me. And he's like, dude, did you hear those people? They love you, man. Those songs, even the ones from 20 years ago, they live on. They're living forever. They're timeless. What are you doing? And I'm like, really, I'm kind of doing nothing, Drake. I stepped away because I hated everything about the music business. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I get that, smash that. But he's like, yo, these people need you, man. Shawn Desman needs to make music again. And I'm like, oh, man. Jamie's telling me. Now Drake is telling me I may have to take this serious, right? So next day, my phone, and I'm not talking lots of Instagram messages, but emails and texts from people in the industry, heads of Spotify, heads of Apple Music, yo, we were at the show. You blew us all the way. Is there new music coming? To get that after so long of not doing anything, it was, I can't believe it. I still get emotional talking about it. And this was in July. It was really, really special. So I start working on music and we're doing a bunch of stuff. Nothing seems to be hitting. And one day I'm at soccer practice with my son. And funny, I had written a version of Maniac in 2014. So I'm like, but I never put it out because that's when everything just kind of went to shit, if I'm being completely honest. So I send that to Jamie and he texts me right away. He's like, yo, this is a smash. This chorus, holy shit. Like, what is this? And I'm like, Jamie, I had written this song, 6 years ago. Nothing happened. He's like, oh, okay, we need to revisit this. This is really special. So, a couple of weeks go by, we do some work, and then we finish it. And it's like, wow, I think we have the song. I think we got the record to come back with. And I'm like, I agree. So we put it out, and I do this show the night before the release at the Rivoli in Toronto. It's like packed house, industry, fans, and this is the launch of Maniac. And I get a message from Drake the next day because I was at the airport heading to Ottawa after the show, the day of that Maniac came out. And he's like, dude, I am so happy that you listened to me that night and you didn't just let what happened happen and let it fizzle out. He's like, I can't wait to hear what you're doing. He's like, it was his birthday that weekend. He's like, yo, if I was in Toronto, I would have pulled up to your show and showed you love, bro. And like, I'm just so proud of you. I can't wait to hear what's next. And here we are.
That's incredible. I literally got goosebumps when you said, the song Maniac, that you had written it in 2014 and then all of this happened and now it's out and it's such a banger, by the way.
Thank you.
You have such a catalog. I was listening to your music the day after the shoot and I was like, oh my gosh, like I forgot that he had this hit and this hit and this hit. Of course, there's a couple that stand out for me because like Shook is, I just remember being, a kid and a certain, there's a certain nostalgia to certain songs that you have. But then 100%. Looking at all of your body of work, it's like, oh my God, I forgot about this song. So it's really exciting and really exciting to be someone who is a fan of yours back then and even in 2014 and whatnot. And then now I'm sitting here with you. It's goosebumps all around. And we're so excited, I have to say. Now, I want to ask you like what that meant to you with Drake, kind of co-signing you in a sense. What did that mean to you?
It's crazy because I'll go back to the show. So I show up at History that night, my wife, my 3 kids, and we get up to the green room and I see Drake and he sees me and he calls me over. This is before the show. So I go up and I'm like, oh man, thank you so much for inviting me. He's like, Shawn Desman. He's like, thank me. Thank you, bro. He's like, what you did, before any of us. And I never thought of it like that, Kristen. Like at the time, I was just a 20-year-old kid making music because I loved making music and performing and dancing. And that's what I was doing. I didn't think that these songs would really become staples and become like core memories for people. You know what I mean? And open doors. Like I didn't think I was opening doors. There were people before me that opened doors. Snow. Oh my God. Like so many of them. And so for him to say that and to really be that supportive, it says so much, man. And like my kids were so excited. They got to meet him, to take pictures. He was so kind with them and with his time. It was really, really, really special. And now what Drake's saying, I'm having so many people say to me like, oh my God, these songs were my childhood. Thank God you're back. Don't ever leave us again. I'm like, oh my God. I guess I did make an impact on people's lives with my music, unintentionally. It just happened. But to go back, yeah, it's 20 years of music. Last year was 20 years since my first album. And like you said, there's so many songs that you go back to me like, oh my God, that was Shawn. Oh my God, that was Shawn. And I'm just so blessed. to be able to be here today, 20 years later, with a song on the radio, like Shawn Desman is on the radio again. It's mind blowing to me.
Yeah. And it kind of, in a sense, although I know for you, you did leave for a bit, to me, it almost feels as if you were never gone.
Everybody says that. It's crazy.
And it's cool to hear that, even just what I'm feeling, other people are feeling, right? So which totally validates what you're doing. Now, I want to ask you, like, what are you, I mean, I know that we kind of chatted a bit, and I know, some things are a little bit, I don't want to say secretive, but you can only give us so much of what you're working on right now. So what can you tell me what you're working on at the moment?
Well, literally, so upcoming, I mean, a bunch of shows in the summertime, summer festivals are coming in, starting to plan a fall tour, which I'm really, really excited about. I'm literally recording downstairs in my studio, like trying to figure out what this next song after Maniac is. Got a couple of things in the works that I'm really, really excited about. And now, I think we were talking about it on set as well. So I've been actually running a dance competition for 15 years. And so they start in March and go all the way till May 2 for a long weekend. So pretty much during that time, that's what I'm doing. It is like my baby. It's one of my passion projects. And I grew up dancing and competing, and it just felt like something natural for me to do. And I love inspiring and watching kids dance. Like, I just love it. My daughter dances. My daughter's a competitive dancer.
I saw her on stage with you on TikTok.
She loves it. Like,
she loves it.
Yeah. Like all the shows she's come to since, it's like, Dad, are you going to bring me up on stage? Dad, are you going to bring me up? She is not shy. She is not scared. Like, natural, like she needs to be on stage.
She has the dad. Well, and I know your wife's the dancer too. So she has her parents' genes.
Exactly. So that's kind of what's in the works right now. And then hopefully some collabs. There's some people I would love to work with.
Who can we conjure up for the universe?
Like, who can we, what's the word? Oh my God. Like, manifestation. Who can we manifest? Drake, like, I would love it. It's funny because I kind of jokingly said that to him at OVO, and he's like, bro, I'm here, bro, I'm here. But it's like, bro, you're Drake, man. Yeah, you could say that. Like, but I think he's being genuine, right?
Let's go.
I know. It would just have to be the right song. It would have to be the right song, right? I always said like Nelly Furtado because of the Portuguese thing with me and her. This new artist, Lucala, which I'm kind of like, I really digging her stuff. But we'll see. What's meant to happen is going to happen. I just leave it in the universe's hands. So,
yeah. And I'm sure that it will come. Now, I want to talk to you. We also talked about, mental health, and, it's January. It's going to be February when we launch this. Why is it important for you to use your platform to speak about mental health? And, did you have a journey yourself that kind of inspired why?
Absolutely. So back in 2015, when I stepped away from music, I was just not in a good place. Not going to say I was suicidal or anything that deep or that serious, but I was depressed. I was sad. I was not happy. And what started to happen was all that started to trickle into my marriage, and like started to trickle into my ability to be a good dad. And so one day my wife was like, man, I think you need to go talk to somebody, because I can't be with somebody like this. I don't want to be with somebody like this. And, our kids don't deserve it. So of course, and I'm like, well, I love my wife. I love my children. Maybe I do need to go speak to somebody. And honestly, Kristen, it was the best thing I ever did. I know there's this whole, and why I'm such an advocate for it, because there's this whole stigma about men not being able to express their feelings or cry. Let me tell you, I've cried a lot since October and before that. And I cry in front of my kids. I cry in front of my wife. I'm not embarrassed, but it took a lot for me to get to that place. And honestly, just talking to somebody once a week, just about problems and about what I'm feeling and what I'm going through was huge. And so I had this like one big epiphany with my therapist, where he kind of like rolled up a piece of paper and he was like, okay, Shawn, grab onto this other side. Grab onto the other side of this paper. So I'm grabbing it, and he's like, okay. He's like, I'm fear, and I'm pulling you and right in front of you is this dark hole, and you're going to fall. You're going to fall into that hole. You're going to lose your kids. You're going to lose your marriage. What are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? He's like, Shawn, I am fear. I'm the fear of, talking about your feelings and crying and all that. And I'm pulling you into this hole, and you're going to fall and you're going to lose everything. What are you going to do with this fear? I'm like, honestly, doc, I have no idea. And he's like, just let go of the paper. He's like, all you have to do is let go. When you're scared, let go and he's like, remember that and just talk. And I was like, that simple little exercise, I was like, oh my God. And that's what I've been doing since. I mean, I try my best. Like, if I am sad, I'm going to tell you I'm sad. If I'm happy, I'm going to tell you I'm happy. And so I feel it is so, again, I just feel it's so important to use my platform, because I know firsthand, I have friends who have opened up to me and have reached out and been like, hey, you think you can give me that number to that therapist? And I'm like, yeah, dude, what's happening? I'm not a therapist, but I'm a good listener. And I can give you my 2 cents and whatnot, but I'm not a therapist. So, and I've had also people online reach out to me. Thank you for doing this. I'm struggling. Thank you for being a voice. And thank you for showing that men can have feelings and shouldn't bottle everything. But I wasn't brought up in a household. My parents were very loving. I was very loving parents, but we didn't come home and talk about our feelings and it just wasn't a thing in my house. So that's why I felt I had to bottle everything. And then, but problem is when you do that, one day you explode, right? So yeah, that was kind of my episode with everything. So
that's incredible. And I feel like these days, it's more and more people are starting to actually open up and be like, hey, I am having thoughts, whether they be, one thing or another. And I'm sure that with social media, as great as it can be, I'm sure that kind of amplifies things too. So,
well, let me tell you, it's funny you say that, Kristen. I'm just going to cut you off there for a second.
No, that's okay.
Social media is great. It also really sucks.
I mean, you were big when social media was not a part of an artist's career. So actually, I mean, if you want to, I'd love to hear a little bit on that note too, to expand of how's that affected, how's it changed? I'm so curious.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, there's that, right? But again, back to my social media is great. But now as an artist, we're in the worst business for mental health, because we see everything everybody is saying. Mm-hmm. I literally have to be like, okay, I got to put this thing down and I got to walk away. But honestly, to me, I'm too old for any of that. I don't let things get me personally, because I know it's just whatever. They want me to say something back because it's exactly what they want. They want me to feed into it, which I don't. I never do. But honestly, the support, I've had 6 buzz post about me twice. Thousands of comments. 99% always positive. There's always that one guy that's got to just be a jerk, right? Anyway, so let's go back. So yeah, I'm from the era, there's no social media, right? And now it's a full-time job. I honestly need to hire somebody because it is so time consuming. That then add my daughter goes to dance twice a week. My son plays soccer 3 times a week. Lunches, school pickup, school drop off. I need to make music. I need to work on my dance competition. So just finding the time to do it is so hard, but it's adapt or die, right? This is where we are in 2023. Adapt or die. I mean, I try my best to stay on it, but also I do like I did before the new year, just be okay, I'm going to cool down a little bit on social media, because since the release of Maniac, crazy. It was nuts. So I'm I need to pull it back a little bit and just now I need to work, right? But yeah, it's changed. The business has changed so much. And think about how people consume music. I come from the era where people were buying CDs.
Me too. Yep.
I have platinum plaques downstairs, from sales.
Yeah.
No streaming, no nothing. Again, adapt. But that is a beautiful thing. What I love about that now is because if you were in Germany, you wouldn't really, unless you went to a store and really dug, you wouldn't find Shawn Desman. Where That's now true. It's 5 seconds, Shawn Desman. boom, my whole catalog shows up anywhere in the world. That is crazy.
There's pros and cons, right?
Yeah, I always say, I feel like if I was at the height of my career right now, it would be a whole different ballgame because the music is so accessible now. If you remember how big those songs were, Get Ready, Shook, Let's Go, Night Like This, Electric, Shiver, like these were Nobody Does Like You, huge songs. Now imagine if streaming was the thing in those days and everybody in the world would listen to these songs, right?
Yeah. I actually bought Shiver on iTunes. You know, when like it was that crossover between you weren't really buying CDs anymore, but and you were doing on the iPods. I bought that one just as a single when it came out.
I believe it. And streaming wasn't the thing yet. Like you couldn't, there wasn't Apple Music. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you though, you know, being a dad, so I know that you have a 14-year-old, so I know that your oldest, you know, was around when you were still doing music, but now that you have two more, how are you kind of juggling being a dad and being an artist with a growing, expanding career?
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, it's not easy. And to add to that, so my wife became pretty ill in 2017, which also added to like me having to step away for a longer time, maybe than I wanted to or whatever. So yeah, I was like super dad, right? Honestly, I literally have to, like where before I would say yes to everything, I literally have to say no to things now because I realize I can't do everything, right? The other thing too is I get up super early. So I get up at 5, I'll get my workout in so that's done. I'll come home about 7:15, get them up, get them dressed for school, lunch is in the bags, so that when I get home at, let's say 8:30, I'm working, right? 8:30 to 2:30, I'm working. I'm making music, I'm emailing, I'm doing whatever I need to do at that point. And then the evenings is really hard because every day it's something different. Mm-hmm. Monday, Tuesday, soccer. Wednesday, dance. Thursday, soccer. Friday, dance and soccer. Saturday, soccer game. It's a lot, but honestly, Kristen, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's being a father is amazing. And like molding these human beings into like what they're going to be is amazing. My kids are really, really good kids. My oldest just started grade 9. He was valedictorian, like principal's award, like just a smart kid. Like I don't have to worry about him. Yeah. Even my middle son, Owen, who's like my mini me, looks exactly like me at that age. Really smart, really good student. My daughter is just a diva. My daughter is just all these white hairs in my beard are because of my daughter.
That's so funny.
But like I wanted a little girl so bad. So like I'm so happy that we tried and like had a third child and had a little girl. But yeah, it's not easy, but it's literally like saying no to things and like scheduling is everything. On days that I do have things where I'm not around, I got to make sure I have people to cover. I have an amazing family. My mom literally lives across the street from me, like literally across the street.
Love it.
And my kids love their grandparents. Like my mother-in-law, 2 minutes walk. My sister-in-law, 2-minute walk. So I have a lot of support around, which is really amazing. Helpful. Yeah.
That's amazing. Has your wife been in any of your music videos?
She was a dancer in Shook.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah. If you watch Shook, she's one of the principal dancers in that.
That's amazing. So that means she's like an incredible dancer.
Oh no, she's a better dancer than I am. Like 100%. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love it. I love the two dancers. It's like a step up, but real life.
Yeah. We met when we were 12 at the dance studio.
Oh my gosh. That's so amazing.
You want to hear something? And I say this all the time and people think I'm crazy. I remember walking in the first time for dance class and she'd come out of another dance class and I looked at her and I saw her and I was like, in my head, I'm going to marry that girl.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And literally we're married like 30 years later.
That's incredible. No, I love it. And I love that you're such a family guy. I really do. I think that's amazing. And you have such a great aura. And I can already tell, you're talking about your kids, how great they are. Doesn't shock me because if they're anything like you, and I'm sure like your wife, they're going to be wonderful people. So
yeah, although they say I'm cringe sometimes.
Well, I mean, I think my parents are too. So I feel like that's just a rite of passage for being a parent, right?
Yeah. Some of my TikToks, my son is like, "Yo, Dad, that's cringe." I'm like, "Owen, He's like, yo, bruh. I'm like, who are you, bruh? Who are you talking to, man?
That's so funny.
So funny.
Now, do you have a favorite song of yours from the past that kind of stands out to you as like you're always hyped to play that song live?
Oh man,
I know it's hard.
It's very hard.
Because even me, I can't even really pick a favorite of yours. Like I can pick a few that I'm like, I remember this day, this time, and that's why it's so special to me. But you have so many songs that are fire. So if you could just pick one that every time you're like, oh, this is next. Like we're playing this next. I'm ready. Which one?
I have to say, picking one is hard, Kristen. So I got to pick more than one.
Okay.
Shook is one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is Night Like This.
Yes, I love that song.
Like that is one where people go bonkers for. And then of course Electric. Like when Electric comes on, the sexiness of everybody comes out when Electric comes on.
I feel like those are probably my top of yours too. But then I also Let's Go. I just remember being at a grade 8 party and like everyone's, you know, oh, we kind of want to dance with the guys, but everyone's all shy and stuff.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of that. Yeah.
So good. And honestly, I'm loving Maniac right now. Like that's my
So good. And it feels so fresh. And it's funny because there's elements of that song that are reminiscent to your older stuff, but it's also so incredibly current.
Yeah, it's like what Shawn Desman should sound like in 2023.
Exactly.
Right?
I know that you kind of told me that it was going to be, there's going to be some nostalgic type elements, but do you have kind of a, let's say, genre for what your new stuff's going to be?
Like it's pop, but also like hints of R&B because that's I don't know why my voice just lends itself so good to R&B. And I have this like stupid fast vibrato as well. People actually say that The Weeknd sounds a lot like Shawn Desman.
It's funny because I agree. I was actually thinking that.
Do you remember I Feel It Coming?
Yes,
I feel it coming, baby.
Totally,
they were like, we love that new Shawn Desman song. I was like, that's not me. But it does, like, I can see what they're talking about.
For sure. I can too. Totally.
Yeah.
So we've got some new music in the works, potentially some new shows happening. Nothing.
Oh, no, not potentially. Those are happening.
Okay, good. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say. So, perfect. You have to let me know, by the way, because I'm going to be there.
Of course.
I'm going to be there front row. So
I love it.
The last question that I have for you is, what advice would you give to an artist who's struggling to find their place right now? Because I know that you've been there. Yeah.
I mean, so again, when I started and when artists are starting now, completely different, right?
Of course.
There are so many outlets and ways for now to just you can record a song right here and put it out tomorrow. And so I feel like when I talk to new artists and people reach out to me, I'm just like, listen, find your niche, find what it is that makes you different, makes you unique, and build a fan base. Put your music out, put a song out every week, especially when you're a new artist and you have no fans. You got to be really consistent and like keep putting songs out, post Instagram videos, TikTok. Oh my God, TikTok, post TikToks, because you just never know if and when something is going to take off, right? So they all get hung up on this. Oh, I want a major record deal. I want this. At the beginning, it's more important, especially right now. Labels are like looking for artists who almost have a crazy, stupid following already before they do anything. Yep. So build a fan base, work on your craft, perfect it. Take 2 years and like learn production, learn how to record vocals. Because it's not hard, but it's repetition. You got to keep doing it. Don't let people influence your creativity. Do what feels right to you. I had to learn that the hard way. I know that now, and I will never let anybody influence my creativity. I'm always going to do what feels right and what feels good and what my gut is telling me to do. The gut feelings in music, it's very special.
100%. You have a great team around you too, I have to say.
Yeah, they're good people, man. Got to keep good people around you, man. Not yes men or women. Just good people that keep you grounded, because it's very easy to get caught up in all the craziness. And you got to
100%.
try your best not to get caught up.
100%. And I just want to say thank you again. You know, like you're making my grade 5 dreams come true.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Kristen. All right, girl.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was great. I can't wait to see everything.